This
Uh,
conference will now be recorded.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome you to the Motorist Modernization Phase 1 Advisory Board meeting for the month of September. This meeting is a public meeting and is being recorded. I'd like to start with roll call, please. Ed?
Here.
Ace? Ace there?
I'm here.
Okay. April?
Here.
Kevin? Is Kevin on the line? Mary?
I'm here. How is everyone?
Great, thank you. William
I'm here.
and Lisa?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much. It looks like we have quorum. We'll start first with the review and approval of the last meeting minutes. Rachel?
Good afternoon, everybody. The last meeting was held on August 11th. Terrence Samuel welcomed new advisory board member Mary Ross to the meeting. The June 9th meeting minutes were reviewed and approved. There was a brief Phase 1 stakeholder outreach update presented by Terrence Samuel. Craig Benner presented a Phase 1 OCM update. The project updates began on page 2 with an update from Informatica, DL issuance, Motors maintenance and FR, My DMV portal, and this continued on to page 3 with an update from SIDLIS and citation processing and renewal notification. There was no communication update at the meeting. There were no questions or concerns from members present, and the meeting was adjourned at approximately 1:30 p.m. At the bottom of page 3, you can see the items that were distributed in a meeting packet prior to the meeting.
Thanks, Rachel. Are there any questions, comments, or corrections to the meeting minutes? Hearing none, is
Move
there?
to approve.
Thank you, Lisa. Is there a second?
Second.
Everybody else? Thanks, Ed. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed, same sign. Okay, we will mark these as approved.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a stakeholder outreach update. Jessica, are you on the line? Will you give an update on the meeting with the cashier vendors, please?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we had a meeting with the cashier vendors. This morning, Lisa was a part of that meeting along with some of the cashier vendors supporting third-party cashiering for the counties. We didn't have a lot of questions. Most of them were around questions that were previously submitted, and a lot of those requests have been logged for enhancement later on. Which we communicated, and we encourage them to continue to send us emails if they have any questions to both our Motorist Mod email address and also the third-party cashiering support email address. I also have an update on the TC virtual conference. Next week, there are going to be a series of Zoom meetings that the Tax Collector Association is going to have, and we'll be presenting on DL issuance, portal, and mobile DL.
Thanks, Jessica. Any questions? CT, are you online? Will you please give an update regarding the activities that we've been supporting with our Learning and Development Office?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to give you a quick update on the LDO Q&A sessions that the senior BAs, Laura, Jessica, and I were participating in. This past Tuesday was our last session. We had them for like 6 weeks, I believe, and they went really good, and they were with the tax collector's office. So I just wanted to give you an update on that we did complete those Q&A sessions with LDO.
Any questions for CT? Thank you. And Coral, will you give us an update regarding stakeholders for Go Live?
Yes, good afternoon. We are working with the business side to ensure we have all the up-to-date emails and points of contact for the many, many stakeholders we communicate with to ensure that they receive the most up-to-date information regarding Go Live, and that's pertinent to their particular area.
Thanks, Coral. Any questions there? Okay, next item on the agenda is moving into our phase 1 program update. We are excited to deliver today's update. We have finalized with our executive steering committee dates for our phase 1 go live, which Michelle will discuss as a part of her update. Michelle, are you online? Michelle? One more time. Michelle, can you hear us? Looks like she's online, but I can't hear.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yep, we can hear you now.
All right. Sorry about that. I believe this is a new format that we've used for advisory boards, so let me just orient you to it. These are various high-level milestones or tasks that we've been tracking as we move toward go live. We've used the same format when we released the motor vehicle renewal notification, which is the first component for the Orion system. As you'll see that there's items, obviously the color code indicates where we're at. If it's complete, you'll notice that there's a star, and the arrows are intended to just give you a sense of where things are trending. Up being good, neutral is not necessarily a bad thing, it's just largely unchanged from the last time, and then obviously downward would be an area of concern. As Kristen mentioned, with the approval of CR 211, we've established go live dates for the pilot phase of the Orion release will be in early December of this year and rolling through early spring of 2021. All right, so for the detailed components, obviously user acceptance testing we've reported in the past is complete. The original development is obviously complete. Vendor stakeholder testing, we had a dedicated period of time for each of these areas. That has been completed, although we continue to obviously support testing efforts as vendors want a regression test or look toward go live. The AMVA structural testing effort, you'll notice there that it says weeks prior to go live as the target completion. There's a piece of their testing effort called the smoke test, which actually has to be completed within a certain period of time for go live. So that's been adjusted based on the CR 211 dates. The last piece of that, the PDPS testing, that first round has already been approved by AMVA. And I believe Andrea is on the line and can correct me, but I think final testing, we're still focused on finishing that out this week. Is that fair, Andrea?
That is. We have 3 drivers to complete.
Awesome. Any questions on this first slide? All right, next slide, please. Organizational change management, obviously the team is continuing to support efforts as we move toward go live. Their core tasks are done, and then the tax collector engagement plan had some minor updates that they're working on to complete. Sherilyn, are you on the line? Want to give an update for Informatica? I think you may have another slide.
Yeah, well, from the state of the state, I can just give an update on where we are on the basis of that. For our testing summary, we are still testing the core and non-core for the Informatica workflows. For the core testing, we're about 81% complete, non-core about 34% complete for a combined testing effort, a little over halfway complete with UAT testing. The data validation testing is about 85% complete. We're just waiting on some updates from bug fixes to be able to kind of wrap that testing up. So our key dates, our forecasted key dates, we just had a change request approved by ESC to revise the deployment date. So we have our main deployment scheduled for mid-November, and we have a smaller deployment that is scheduled for the first weekend in October. So that's kind of the a summary of Informatica updates. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Sherilyn. The formal regression testing of the Orion system has been completed. You'll notice the next piece, the approved change requests. We have some final testing for CR 210, which is a prior change request, and then we had an amendment to CR 213. 213 had some legislative release items that we were working through. We are getting, daily updates on all of those, and we're on track to close those out on the 21st. Any questions on this slide? All right. Baseline performance testing, we've done a series of tests independent with each team. We've also done some cumulative tests together. We're continuing to do some failover testing with ISA. And then we had done some field office performance testing, and we look to schedule more of those. Obviously, there's some COVID-19 considerations that we're trying to work through there. So we'll continue to monitor that, but we feel like the tests that we've done have been good and solid. We just obviously want to continue to do more of them. Enterprise security testing, we had an issue opened on this about trying to get some of the results of that final test. We now have those, and the team is working through that as part of what we call technical debt, and are on track to finish those out on the 25th of this month. And then code deployments, we've been working for well over a year now to finalize the code deployment spreadsheets. Essentially what that is the roadmap to actually getting the complexity of the system into production. So we have weekly meetings on that aspect, and the team is continuing to update those based on these last edits from the CRs. Any questions on this slide? All right, Coral, you want to get an update on user guides and the operation manual?
I would love to. So legal has officially finalized the review of the operations manual. So Dana and Rick are currently working on getting all those updates implemented by the end of the week so that we can bring it to ESC next week for final review and approval. Following that, it will have to go through an ADA compliance check, and then will be posted on PartnerNet. DL issuance, we sent out an announcement last week that the user guide is posted on PartnerNet and available for consumption. And the Supergroup and MyDMV portal user guides are the final two that are currently in review, and will go to ESC sometime at the end of this month.
All right. Thank you for that. We've been reporting on the excellent work that the LDO has been doing with the training. So iLearn was deployed, I believe, in late June, early July, and then Train the Trainer sessions have been going on since July, and we'll wrap up this week. There was a couple counties that hadn't coordinated that due to their size and or other considerations. So I know LDO was reaching out to them, but the core will be done this week. And then obviously doing their own training sessions between now and their go live. The tax collector offices right now, we're not planning to be part of the December wave, but would be obviously starting in earnest in January. Are there any questions for me or any of the PMs? All right. Exciting time to be here. Thanks, Kristen.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, our last agenda item for today is a communications update. Coral?
Yes, at the end of August, we sent out communications regarding the new change in schedule. So it went out to tax collectors, followed by insurance companies, and then all external stakeholders, as well as all internal FLHSMB members. So everyone should be aware at this time of the new schedule and the updates, and we'll be continuing to send out those communications frequently as we move towards implementation.
Okay, thanks, Coral. Those are all the agenda items that we have today. Are there any questions from the advisory board members?
No.
Yes, this is Lisa.
Yes, Lisa.
I just want to make sure I have this right in my mind. When are we thinking Informatica will be complete?
Sherilyn, are you
We
still on
have
the line?
scheduled deployments. We have one deployment scheduled for October 4th. That's a small deployment, and we have all of the workflows scheduled to be deployed by mid-October. I'm sorry, November.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sherilyn. Any other questions from advisory board members? Any questions from the general public? Okay, hearing none, we will adjourn today's meeting at 1:17 p.m. and we will see you next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day, you guys.
Bye.